Hey, what is up guys? My name is Daniel and today I am here with a video that I've never actually done before. That is a keyboard buyer's guide, mechanical keyboard buyer's guide to be more precise. Yeah, a lot of people get confused when buying or when looking to buy mechanical keyboards. Not so much membranes as, most of them are in about the same price range, whether they're rubber dome, scissor switch, what have you. But with this, a lot of people do get confused, so I wrote down some things in a, not a Word document, but like a notepad, whatever, over here, and I'm going to explain some things. So, yeah, first of all, there's a couple terms you might need to know when talking about mechanical keyboards. First is key switch. That is just the mechanism that determines the actuation of key presses in a keyboard. So it's basically everything under the keycap, that here I'm gonna, these are my MX Blues that you're hearing right now. My mic is facing me, so it's not gonna be as loud as it would be in the real world. But yeah, basically everything under the keycap that determines the actuation of a press, really. That's a key switch. And keycaps is the other term you're gonna need to know. That's the pressable object on top of a key switch. So just like on a regular keyboard, how you have the like Q, W, E, R, T, Y, U, I, whatever. Everything on a keyboard basically is a keycap. Like, if I hit Q or 1 or 2 or 0 or control or whatever, they all have keycaps on top of them. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this, but I think you get my point. So yeah, let's talk about the majority of people that buy mechanical keyboards will go for 3 key switches, and I'd say like 95% of people that buy mechanical keyboards will go for these 3 key switches, which are MX Blue, Brown, and Red. Now let's read off the specs on each of those. MX Blues are audible with a tactile click, meaning that when you cross the actuation point, there will be a click, like so. The operating force on these are 50 grams, but they're 60 grams when crossing that actuation point. So, pressing it down barely like a millimeter will be 50 grams, but then to cross the actuation point, you actually have to press down 60 grams, which doesn't seem like a lot. But, when you're typing a lot of letters per second or whatever, it can fatigue some people. It took me, I don't know, a week or two to get used to my MX Blues coming from like rubber dome key switches, and I actually enjoy it like a lot now. But yeah, there's a 2 millimeter actuation point from the starting position, so where your key switch rests, it's the distance between that and the actuation point is 2 millimeters, and that's how it is for most Cherry MX key switches. So yeah, moving on to MX Brown, there's a tactile bump and they're non-audible. So they're kind of like MX Blues in that there's a bump when you cross the actuation point, but it's not very loud at all. It's not like clicky like the MX Blues are. A lot of people go for MX Browns. Like, I'd say the majority of people that buy mechanical keyboards will go for Browns just because it's the best of both worlds, really. I like Blues just because I type a lot, and yeah. A lot of people also do like Browns for gaming. It's even more than Reds for a lot of people, but I'll get into that later. So yeah, there's a 2 millimeter actuation point from the starting position, just like I said with the Blues, and the operating force for MX Browns are 45 grams and 55 grams to cross the actuation point, so they're a little bit easier to press. For the MX Reds, they're linear with no click or bump, so you don't feel anything when you cross the actuation point. The operating force on these are 45 grams at all times, because there's no actuation point, no definitive actuation point anyway, so there's no difference. And there's 2 millimeter space between resting position and the actuation point. There are a couple of other key switches that I could talk about here, like MX Clears. MX Clears are kind of like MX Browns, but with more resistance. I'm not sure exactly how much more because I didn't write that down in this document. But yeah, there's also MX Blacks, which are like Reds, but more resistant. So, if you like pressing down a lot harder, like if you like the linear feel of Reds and not having any bump or click or whatever, but you think Reds are like too easy to press down or too light or whatever, then go for MX Blacks. MX Blacks are semi-popular. A lot of people actually like them. And then MX Greens is something I've been seeing pop up a lot lately. Well, not lately, I'd say I don't know. It wasn't a thing like a year or two ago, and now a lot of people are buying MX greens. Well, I say a lot, but you know, it's a very small percentage. But MX greens are basically just like blues, so they're, you know, clicky and whatever else. But they have more resistance. I believe off the top of my head, they have 85 grams of resistance. So whereas regular MX blues have 50. So yeah. So if you're like the Hulk, basically, which is, I don't know, because they're MX greens, then go for MX greens. If you like just like jamming on your keyboard all the time and you like clickiness and that kind of stuff, then that's cool. One other type of key switch I want to touch up on for a second are Topras. A lot of people describe these as a semi-mechanical feel. I don't know exactly how that is, because they're a little bit mushy, unlike blues or even browns. I've never actually got to play with a Topra keyboard myself, so I'm not exactly qualified to be talking about this. So I'll let you do that research in your own time. Now, for the next thing I want to talk about is keyboard layouts. There's 3 keyboard layouts I want to talk about right now. One of them is the 101 key layout. That's the standard keyboard layout with the number pad. And then there's a 104 key layout, which is the standard layout with Windows keys. So I believe that's the left Windows key next to Control and the right Windows key next to Alt and the button next to that Windows key, which is like a page button. I don't know what that key is. I've never used it in my life. And the other keyboard I want to talk about, which this is kind of the important part here, is the 10 keyless layout, which is just like the 104 key. I mean, sometimes it's like the 101 key, but without the number pad. So 10 keyless is generally just, you know, chopping off the right side of your keyboard, just chopping off the number pad. So, you know, generally if you see 10 keyless in the title of a keyboard, that'll mean that it just has no number pad and is a slight bit smaller, which a lot of people like that just for portability's sake and for the sake of it being light. I have a number pad on mine just because I use it for, you know, 3D modeling and whatever. So yeah, last thing I wanted to read out about this is some reputable manufacturers. Some manufacturers that I like and that usually have good reviews are Ducky, Corsair, Cooler Master, Razer. I put Razer on there. You know, their build quality is not really great. I don't really like Razer, but they do generally get decent reviews. Logitech's only got one mechanical keyboard, but the one that it has is MX Brown's, and a lot of people like it. DOS keyboard, etc. So yeah, not much more I can say in this commentary other than go with what you like. Now I'm gonna have a super hard time editing this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new here. All the outro stuff that I'm jumbling up right now. And peace.